When I Fall by Scarlet Emerald 32. Chapter 19. Talisa looked over at Eugene in the driver's seat where he was singing softly along with the music and drumming to the beat on the steering wheel. She smiled and reached over, brushing back the hair above his ear. He took his eyes briefly off the road to shoot her a smile.
I wasn't aware you'd woken up.
I know. I was enjoying the view.
He shook his head and chuckled.
How long was I asleep?
Only about an hour. We should be back in about 30 minutes.
He shot another quick look at her.
You know, it would stand to reason that after sleeping in what was by far the most comfortable bed either of us has come across in quite some time, you'd find yourself more rested than you seem to be.
Well, what can I say? It's almost like even though I was in a comfortable bed, I somehow ended up completely worn out by this morning. I wonder how that could have possibly happened.
Eugene didn't even attempt to hide his self-satisfied grin.
Look at you, Mr. Proud of yourself.
Oh, I surely am, and I will make no effort to deny it.
They were pulling into the town just next to Alexandria, where Eugene had planned on making his machine shop, and as they were about to turn onto the road that would take them in, Talisa put a hand on his arm.
Eugene, wait. Stop the car.
She got out and walked around to the front, looking down at the tire marks across the road.
A bunch of vehicles came through here recently. Big ones. Bigger than what we have.
I see entry tracks, but no exit. You know what that means.
Talisa sighed and rubbed her hands across her face.
He's back.
Talisa looked carefully through the window in the abandoned house at the end of the road leading to the gates of Alexandria. The gates were open, and she saw several of the saviors standing guard with automatic weapons.
He's gotta be in there. There's no way this many of them would come otherwise. But why the hell is he back so soon? It's only been a few days.
As you previously postulated, his movements are most likely always going to be erratic with the intent of keeping us continually on our toes.
Well, that leaves us with the predicament of how the hell we're going to get back in there. Because driving back through the front gate together is going to draw a whole hell of a lot of attention back on us.
We could simply stay in our current position until they leave. I can bring the car slightly closer and unload our personal items, and we can wait it out right here.
We could. The only problem I see with that is that he's probably already wondering where everyone is. Rick, Aaron, Michonne, me, and you are all out on runs right now. That doesn't leave many people inside. I worry about him asking too many questions and potentially sending out search parties.
You forgot Spencer.
What?
In your list of people who are currently out on collection duty for the Saviors, you forgot to include Spencer. I noticed when we were making our way here that his vehicle is MIA.
Oh, right. Okay, then.
Talisa put her hands on her hips and sighed.
I think I should go in on foot with some of the canned goods, and you should stay here. And when one of the other groups gets back, flag them down, put the ham radio in with their stuff, and ride in with them.
Why?
Because of the people that aren't in there, Rick and I are the ones he's going to want to see come back the most. The ones he's going to have the most questions about. If I make it look like I was out scouting on my own, and the rest of you show up with good stuff, it should probably go over pretty smoothly.
Eugene looked at her without speaking, and then turned away, walking across the room to where an old wooden table sat scattered with dusty glass bottles. Without warning, he picked one up and threw it hard at the wall where it shattered.
Eugene, they're going to hear you.
I do not give a damn if they hear me. It's been less than a week and here I am, yet again, being asked to stand aside and allow the woman I love to be objectified and taunted, while I not only do nothing to stop it, but am expected to act as if it has no effect on me whatsoever.
Well, what's our alternative? What do you want to do instead?
What I want is to drive through that gate with you just as happy as we were approximately 10 minutes ago. I want to be able to walk down the street hand in hand with you, proud to show everyone that I am loved by someone as extraordinary as you. I want to be able to make love to my girlfriend and not have to worry about the fact that the damn saviors absconded with all our contraception. I want the man that I considered one of my best friends to be waiting on the other side of said gate so that I can tell him about the best night of my life and he can clap me on the shoulder and tell me how happy he is for me. And more than anything, I just want to stop being so damned afraid every second of every damn day. But we're both well aware that none of the things I want have any likelihood of coming to fruition any time in the foreseeable future. So what does it matter?
Then let's just go.
Eugene looked back at her sharply.
Excuse me?
Let's leave. Let's get back in the car and just leave. We'll never come back from this mission. We can go back to that airplane hangar and just stay there. We'll make a quick pit stop and see what we can find at convenience stores along the way, and then we'll go back into that jet and not come out for a week. When we do, it'll just be to set the hangar up as our home base. We can do it, Eugene. With your brains and my resourcefulness, we could make it work, if you wanted to.
Eugene walked back over to her. He put a hand against the side of her face and ran his thumb along her cheek.
I would embark on that journey with you in an instant. No hesitations, no misgivings, but I know you, and you could never leave the people in there at the mercy of that tyrant, nor could I for that matter, as much as the idea appeals to me in this moment.
So then, what are we going to do?
Eugene leaned down and gave her a slow, gentle kiss.
You are going to fill your bag with canned goods and head inside, and I'm going to wait for the next of our people to return and ride in with them as a cover story.
But you said...
I'm aware of what I said, but we don't always get to play things out the way we want, and more than anything else, I trust you and I love you, forever and always.
Talisa pulled him down and kissed him once more, and then they both made their way out of the abandoned house and back down the road towards their car. As she was filling her backpack with canned goods, they heard the sound of an approaching vehicle. They ducked behind their own quickly, but as they saw it come into view, Talisa ran out and flagged it down in relief.
Hey, Spencer.
He pulled up beside them and rolled down the passenger side window.
Hey, you guys just get back to...
Pretty much. Listen, Negan's already in there. Do you think you could take Eugene in with you? He's got a radio in the back that he'll need to load in with your stuff, but it should fit.
Why can't you guys just go in together?
Because we can't, Spencer. And that's all you need to know about it right now. Can he ride in with you or not?
Yeah, that's fine. Hop on in.
All right, let's get the radio transferred over.
Talisa turned back to Eugene, but he put a hand on her arm to stop her.
Now that Spencer has arrived and I can precede you through the gates, it makes more sense for me to attach myself to his scavenging venture and allow you to take credit for the contents of this vehicle.
But the ham radio was your stroke of brilliance. I don't want to take credit for your ideas.
I am more than happy to allow you to have this one. Maybe it will even earn you a little favor with the big man himself.
Talisa made a disgusted noise in the back of her throat, and Eugene chuckled and leaned down to give her a kiss.
I'll see you presently. I'd wait at least an hour before you head in, just to be safe.
Will do.
He kissed her lightly one more time before walking over and climbing into the truck next to Spencer.
Always and forever haircut.
Always and forever.
Talisa ended up waiting almost an hour and a half before she put the car in gear and began to drive it slowly down the road between the cars. When she got to the gates, one of the saviors held up a hand for her to stop and walked lazily over to the car.
Who are you and where are you coming from?
Talisa Prince, I live here, and I'm coming back from a mission to get you greedy assholes more stuff.
The man raised his eyebrows at her.
Is that so, Talisa Prince? Well, I'd be careful who you're calling an asshole, seeing as I'm the one with the gun, and you're the one with the car full of...
He walked around to the back and looked in.
a whole bunch of cans and some weird-ass electrical box.
That weird-ass electrical box is a radio. and it has transceivers that will allow you to communicate over long distances.
Huh, I take it back. That is some quality out-of-the-box thinking. Good job. But all the same, I'd watch that pretty mouth of yours.
He patted the roof of her car and made a motion to the others inside. She drove through the gates and parked in one of the open spots. As she got out, several other men walked over to her.
Looky here, another one comes back. 2 drops since we've gotten here. Gotta say we weren't expecting this group to be quite so readily productive.
His last words were thick with implication as he looked her pointedly up and down. She ignored him and grabbed her backpack, turning to leave. She felt his vice-like grip on her forearm as he spun her back around to face him.
Where are you going? We were just starting to get to know each other.
Hey!
Talisa looked up to see Tara standing a few feet away with her arms crossed in front of her.
Doesn't look like she's interested in talking to you. Doesn't your boss have some pretty strict rules about how you treat women? Especially the ones who aren't interested in your company.
What's it to you, Dyke?
The man glared at her, but the first man stepped forward.
Ted, come on. You know she's right. You don't want to get on his bad side over shit like this. Believe me.
Ted sighed in resignation and shoved Talisa away from him. She walked quickly to where Tara was standing without looking back.
See you around, sweetie.
Thanks for that.
Anytime.
Did Eugene and Spencer get in okay?
Tara rolled her eyes and made a disgusted noise.
Yeah, they got here just fine.
Talisa gave her a questioning look.
Oh, it's nothing about Eugene. He's back at his house, pacing a hole in the floor, waiting for you to get back safe. It's Spencer. Well, maybe you better just see for yourself.
They walked another block, and Talisa stopped, confused by what she was witnessing. The pool table that had been in Reg's den as long as she'd been in Alexandria was now sitting in the middle of the road, and Spencer and Negan seemed to be enjoying a game while having a pleasant conversation.
What the fuck happened while we were gone?
Negan showed up about 3 hours ago with Carl. Said he snuck into the back of one of his delivery trucks, broke into his compound, and gunned down several of his men.
Oh my god. Oh, Carl. Please tell me he's not...
He's fine.
Tara shook her head as if she still couldn't believe it herself.
He's absolutely fine. Negan brought him home, and then went to Rick's and made dinner, which he ate with Carl, Judith, and Olivia. Now he says he's just waiting for Rick to get back.
And Spencer?
I think he's trying to make his case to become the new leader. Dumbass.
Yeah, I'm thinking dumbass may be too complimentary at this point.
When Negan saw her approach, his grin widened, and he raised his arms in welcome.
Sassy pants. I was wondering where you got to.
I was out scavenging.
You get me anything good?
Long-range radio.
Holy shit. Are you serious?
Negan set down his pool cue and turned to look at her in admiration.
What the hell rock did you turn over to find that?
Just checked a couple of the small airports in the area.
Well, I'll be damned.
He walked over and looked down at her.
I love a woman who's smart and resourceful, and one that brings me presents, too.
He let out a low whistle.
What did you say to coming back and being one of my wives? Sassy pants. It's a pre-emo position. You can ask anyone here, I treat my girls real nice.
I'd rather be fed to the walker's toes first, but thanks for the offer.
Believe it or not, at least 2 of my wives gave me even snappier rejections than that the first time I asked. But I wore 'em down.
He shot her a wink and then turned back to the game with Spencer. Talisa looked past him and saw that Eugene was standing across the street near Rick's house, watching the interaction. She gave him a meaningful look, and his gaze softened slightly.
Now, Spencer, where were we? Oh, right. Your mom was the leader here, and everything was peachy for what, years?
Spencer nodded.
Then Rick shows up, and suddenly you're an orphan.
He leaned down and took his shot as he sighed.
That is one of the saddest things I've ever heard. Good thing for you, he isn't in charge anymore.
It doesn't matter. His ego's out of control. He'll find a way to screw things up. to try and do things his way and take over. That's what he did with my mom, and he'll do it again.
And what exactly are you proposing be done about that?
Spencer took a deep breath and stood a little taller as he stepped towards Negan.
I'm my mother's son. I can be the leader she was. That's what this place needs. It's what you need.
Negan gave him a calculating look.
So, I should put you in charge, that's what you're saying?
We'd be much better off.
Negan shook his head and chuckled slightly. He walked to the end of the table and sat down his pool cue before stepping closer so he and Spencer were face to face. Talisa shot a quick look at Tara, who was standing next to her, and saw her own worry reflected back. A small crowd had gathered to watch the exchange, and Talisa had a sinking feeling she knew where it was heading.
You know, Spencer, I'm thinking about how Rick threatened to kill me, and clearly hates my guts. But he's out there right now, gathering shit for me, to make sure that I don't hurt any of the fine people that live here. He is swallowing his pride and getting shit done. That takes guts. And then there's you,
He sneered at Spencer.
the guy who waited for Rick to be gone so he could sneak over here and get me to do his dirty work so he could take Rick's place.
What? No, I didn't.
You know what I'm thinking?
Negan cut across him, leaning in close so his face was inches from Spencer's and giving him his most threatening smile.
'Cause I have a guess. I think it's because you've got no guts.
Once again, it happened so fast that Talisa barely had time to register it. Negan pulled a buck knife from his back pocket and sliced it through Spencer's abdomen, spilling his intestines across the pavement. Several people screamed, and several more, including Rosita, stood frozen in horror as Spencer slowly crumpled to the ground.
Oh, how embarrassing. You did have guts. They were inside you the whole time. There they are. I've never been so wrong in my life.
He looked back up in the group as he chuckled at his own joke.
Now somebody come clean this mess up.
Everyone stood frozen, staring at him, so he shrugged slightly and turned back to the table.
Anybody want to finish the game?
When no one answered, he turned back to them.
Oh, come on. I was winning.
Talisa saw Rosita begin to tremble with rage and suddenly realized what she was going to do. She wanted to scream at her, tell her to stop, but she knew she couldn't without alerting Negan. She felt powerless as she watched her pull the gun out of the waistband of her pants. Talisa looked past her and met Eugene's terrified gaze as she took the shot. The sound of the bullet echoed in the empty streets, and there were several more screams as people ducked and attempted to protect themselves. Talisa looked up and her heart dropped as she saw Negan holding his bat in front of him. A small black indent was clearly visible near the top.
What the shit? Did you just try to kill me?
One of the female saviors stepped forward and grabbed Rosita, brutally slamming her down onto the pavement and pinning her with a knife at her throat. Eugene put his hands on his head, looking down at her in terror, and then back up at Negan, who walked purposefully over and glared down at Rosita.
You shot Lucille!
She got in the way.
Negan glared at her for another second before turning his attention to the bullet. Talisa felt as if her heart stopped as he carefully examined it.
What is this? Is this little bad boy made from scratch? Look at those crimps. This was homemade.
He looked from the bullet back to Rosita in amusement.
You may be stupid, darling, but you showed some real ingenuity here, a rat. Move that knife up to her face.
Talisa's stomach dropped another inch as she watched the woman move the blade to just under Rosita's eye.
Lucille's beautiful, smooth surface is never gonna be the same again. So why should yours?
Arat pushed the blade down against her cheek.
Unless you tell me, who made this?
It was me.
As much as Talisa was furious at Rosita for the situation she'd put Eugene in that moment, she loved her for her loyalty. Negan, on the other hand, was not impressed. He rolled his eyes and sighed.
See, now I just think you're lying. And you lying to me right now?
He glared down at her, but she met his look with stony silence.
Such a shame. Eric's gonna have to cut up that pretty face. I'm gonna give you one more chance. Who made it?
Rosita held his gaze as she lifted her head, pressing her cheek against the blade until blood began to trickle down around it.
It was me.
Negan looked down at her with clear admiration.
Wow, you are such a badass. All right, have it your way. Alright, kill somebody.
Talisa looked in horror at Eugene, who looked back just as desperately, but Arat didn't aim at either of them. She turned quickly towards Rick's porch and without hesitation shot Olivia between the eyes. Talisa felt her legs go weak with shock, as yet again more screams echoed around the street. Tara grabbed her hand tightly to steady her, and they clung to each other as Negan looked around at them all.
We had an agreement.
Rick came running up the street carrying an almost unconscious Aaron, who had clearly been badly beaten. He transferred him into his husband's arms as he walked angrily up to Negan.
Rick! Look, everybody, it's Rick! You know, Rick, your people are making me lose my voice doing all this shouting. So, how about a thank you?
Rick looked around at the blood and chaos and then back at Negan in disbelief.
Look, I know we started this relationship with me beating the holy shit out of your friends, and because of that, we're never gonna sit around and braid each other's hair or share our deepest, darkest secrets. But how about a little credit? I just bent over backwards to show you how reasonable I am.
Negan pointed towards Rick's porch.
Your kid hid in one of my trucks and machine gunned a bunch of my men down, and I brought him home, safe and sound, and fed him spaghetti. Another one of your people. Well, he wanted me to kill you, Rick, and put him in charge, so I took him out for you and another one here.
He looked down to where Rosita was pinned to the ground.
She shot Lucille trying to kill me just now, so I gave you one less mouth to feed, and by the look of her...
He looked over to where Olivia's body lay on the porch with a cruel smile.
That mouth did some serious damage.
Talisa felt Tara's already vice-like grip tighten, and she squeezed her hand back in comfort.
Now, personally, I wouldn't have picked her. But Arade, I don't know. I guess she didn't trust her.
Rick stared at him, obviously struggling to control himself enough to even speak.
Your shit's at the gate. Just take it and go.
Sure thing, Rick. Just as soon as I find out who made this bullet.
No one spoke again, so Negan turned back to Arad and nodded. She stood and leveled her gun at Aaron. Several people screamed as Eric tried to shield him, but before Arad could shoot, Tara shouted,
It was me!
Negan turned his attention to her, but as he did, another voice called out behind him.
No, it wasn't.
It was as if Talisa's entire world cracked apart at the seams. She clamped a hand over her mouth to stifle her scream as she felt someone behind her grab her by the arms, steadying her. She heard Gabriel's quiet voice at her ear.
You can't. It'll only make it worse for him.
Negan hadn't noticed the exchange as his attention was now entirely focused on Eugene, who was trembling violently and leaning away from his approach.
It was only me.
You?
It required one spent casing, one 4-hold turret reloader, powder, funnel for said powder.
Shut up. I believe you.
He turned his back to him, raising his bat and closing his eyes. Terror, like she'd never felt before, washed over Talisa, and the words came tumbling out of her before she even consciously knew what she was saying.
Don't kill him!
Negan opened his eyes again and tilted his head as he looked at her curiously.
What was that, sassy pants?
Talisa took a deep breath, forcing herself to speak calmly.
I said, don't kill him, please. This isn't his fault.
Isn't his fault? He made the damn bullet. That is now lodged in my beautiful girl as we speak. How the hell is that not his fault?
Talisa knew what she needed to do. Even as the words left her mouth, she despised herself for them. But she also knew it was Eugene's only chance.
Look at him. He's terrified of you. He's not a rebel. He's a sad, lonely guy who has a bad habit of letting himself get manipulated by pretty girls to do stupid shit. He's not a threat.
Negan let out a long, low whistle as he turned back to Eugene.
You hear that, Mr. Bullet Maker? My sassy pants girl over there just told me I shouldn't kill you on account of you being nothing more than a pathetic loser. How do you feel about that? 'Cause I gotta say, that is stone cold, even for me.
Eugene looked over at Talisa, and she silently begged him to understand. She saw the ghost of a smile flicker across his face as he spoke.
I think whatever you say goes. This is, after all, your rodeo.
Talisa closed her eyes tight as a tear slid down her cheek. Negan turned back to her, clearly enjoying the exchange. He smiled and crossed his arms.
Well, this is a predicament, because I'm inclined to believe you sassy pants. Nothing about our good buddy over here screams threat, but he can manufacture bullets, and that is something I cannot allow. So, what to do?
Talisa held Negan's gaze as she spoke again.
Do whatever you want. It doesn't matter anyway.
Out of the corner of her eye, she saw Eugene look down quickly to hide the small smile on his face, and her heart cracked in two. Negan continued to watch her for another moment, and then he smiled slowly, obscenely, pressing the tip of his tongue against his teeth.
All right then, sassy pants, if that's what you want. Rick, I'm gonna be relieving you of your bullet maker.
Gabriel's grip on Talisa's arms tightened as her knees gave out and he held her upright. Aret and two men came over and grabbed Eugene, Frog marching him towards the gate. He gave her one more desperate glance and mouthed the words, "Always and forever." She repeated them back to him as the tears slid down her face.
All right then, let's move out.
No! Take me, not him! Please, take me!
Gabriel finally let Talisa go, and she collapsed to the ground, sobs racking her body. Tara knelt beside her and wrapped her arms around her tightly.
He didn't kill him. He's useful to them. They're gonna keep him alive. We'll get him back.
Talisa's breath came in short gasps as she cried and cried, unable to stop the panic and grief rising inside her.
Talisa! Talisa, I'm so...
Her words were cut off as Talisa suddenly launched herself off the ground and punched the other woman square in the face. Rosita's head snapped back, and she stumbled, looking up in surprise. Talisa attacked again, but Rick stepped in, grabbing her around the waist and pulling her back while she screamed and kicked like a wild animal, still trying to get at Rosita.
You bitch! You fucking bitch! Are you happy now? You got him killed too. Is that enough for you? They're both gone, and it's your fucking fault.
Talisa!
Rick warned, but she ignored him, kicking at him and punching his arm.
Let me go! It's her fault! He's gone, and it's her fucking fault!
She felt the fight leaving her as the shaking began, and the sobs overtook her again. Talisa wasn't sure how much time had passed. The terrifying numbness that she was all too familiar with had crept back in. She was lying on her side in her bedroom, on the sleeping bag that was the only bed she had left. A sort of surreal calm had overtaken her within an hour of the incident. Now she'd been lying here for an unknown amount of time, not moving, or speaking, or even sleeping. She couldn't bring herself to believe that he was really gone. It didn't seem real. She could still feel his hands that had been caressing her just 8 hours prior. Remember the taste of him. This could not be her reality. Not again. She vaguely heard the door of her room open, but she didn't look up. After a moment, feet came into view and Rick sat down against the wall next to her. He looked down and saw that she was awake. His face softened into a heartbreaking expression.
Talisa, Tara said you haven't had anything to eat or drink in almost 12 hours.
Is that how long it's been?
Look, I get it, but you can't just waste away. We need you. He needs you. He's not gone. Not yet. You can't give up.
Rick, you remember what Daryl looked like when they brought him here? They broke him, and it only took a few days. Eugene, he's...
Her voice caught as she blinked back tears again.
Eugene's not strong like Daryl. He's not going to make it there. You know that, and so do I. He's never coming back.
Rick looked down at the floor for a minute and took a deep breath.
When we left the prison, when we were forced to leave, I thought I lost Judith. There was a walker swarm and I thought they got her. I had to live with the fact that my baby daughter died like that, and I thought it was going to break me. I was sure that it broke Carl, but we got through it together, and in the end, it was Carol. Someone I sent away, who came back and saved my baby girl, saved us all. Carol wasn't strong when I met her. She learned how to be strong.
Rick looked up at her and reached out to take her hand.
Eugene has learned how to be strong too. And he learned it for the most important reason that there is. For love. He loves you, Talisa. And I know he's strong enough to hold on until we find a way to get him back. Him and Daryl.
I asked him to leave with me today. I said we should run away and never look back, that we could make it on our own. He wanted to, but he said we wouldn't be able to live with ourselves if we abandoned the people we care about.
Rick sighed heavily and leaned back against the wall, pressing the palms of his hands against his eyes. Suddenly, something he'd said broke through the fog in Talisa's brain, and she looked up at him sharply. She pushed herself into a seated position, and her muscles screamed in protest, showing her just how long she'd really been lying there.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? Find a way to get them back? I thought there was no way out of this. You said Negan won. Plain and simple.
Rick was quiet for a long moment, and when he spoke, his voice was choked with emotion, and he couldn't meet her eye.
I gave up. I know I did. After Glenn and Abraham, I just couldn't face the idea of losing anyone else. So I gave up. I let Negan win.
He looked up and met her eye now.
I was wrong. I understand that now. Michonne, she reminded me of something I told her a long time ago.
What was that?
That there is nothing we can't do, all of us, as long as we're together. Together, we're the ones who get things done. We're the ones who live, and Talisa, I swear to you.
Rick took both of her hands in his.
We are going to get him back, whatever it takes, and then we are going to end this.
When I Fall is a work of fiction based on AMC's The Walking Dead. Any characters not created by the author are the property of said company. The story will continue in the next chapter.